Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about the power of music and how we should all strive to play more music in our lives and listen to more music in our lives, and how it can help us in our everyday lives to feel better and can also help in other ways, which I'll talk about. So I was going to show this video of basically, it's not really important what the video, but it's a funny video. It's like a baby crying in the car, and then as soon as the song comes on, it's like a Future song, and the baby just stops crying immediately and starts bobbing to it. But it's basically to show, you know, the power of music, and that it can make us feel good. You know, like music is a huge part of life. I mean, think about it. Your mom has been singing lullabies to you since you were a baby. It's one of the best ways to calm down infants. And these are humans that can barely understand anything, you know. So what is it about music, a tune that can soothe, that can make you feel better? And really, this phenomenon goes on later in life, and it's really, music is a crucial part of the developing brain. And you can see here some of the ways, some of the different parts of the brain that are affected by music. And it really, studies have shown with children in all ages that it can really help with things like memory. Memory is huge, like listening to music while studying can help you remember later in a test. Listening to music has been shown to aid in reading comprehension as well as mathematic ability. And one of the other huge points about music is it helps in executive functioning, because it really, when you're listening to music, you're utilizing your prefrontal cortex right here, which is huge in judgment and decision making. So executive functioning is a facet of this, and it's really affected positively by music. It's a really big study was done with developing brains, which at our age our brains are still developing. So the executive functioning was huge. So things like problem solving was affected positively. Things like switching between objects and focus. So we all have trouble in our lives focusing a lot of times. Like you guys probably might have trouble focusing on me in this speech. There's a lot of speeches coming up today. So I'm not going to start singing or anything like that, but maybe if I did, or if you're listening to music in your daily life, then you're going to be able to focus better. And this is a huge thing for students. As well as the other things I talked about, like math helps with math, helps with studying, helps with decision making. So, these things are huge for us as students to help us in our academic life. Another thing that it helps with is our mood and really our social skills. Like a lot of us get depressed or have anxiety. We're at an age and a time where there's a lot of things going on, and there's, it's a stressful time to be alive. Maybe not for all of us, but for a lot of us, it can be, it can seem hopeless. And one of the best ways to combat it is to sing or dance. There's a lot of therapy out there, and you can go talk to a specialist for an hour, but sometimes the best therapy can be putting on your favorite song in your room and just going getting wild in your room, getting down. Because it makes you feel good, it makes you, it's a mood enhancer. It pumps endorphins into your brain. It's dopamine, it's good feeling neurons that are getting connected. So when I went around and I talked to all you guys, I got some different responses, and I got a lot of feedback about, what is it that keeps people from playing music, what's so hard about it. Some people don't like music, which I find is ridiculous. There's music out there for everybody. There's some type of music, that you can find that's good for you. There's anything from hip hop to folk music to country music. Another issue that a lot of people had was, they can't find time in their daily life to play music. Like, are you kidding me? Every day, how am I supposed to pick up an instrument? Like, there's no way. But if you think about all the things you do in your daily life, think about you're taking a shower. How hard is it to sing in the shower? You know, a lot of us sing in the shower already. So what I'm telling you is, it's a good thing. It's positive. You're helping. You're feeding your brain. You're pumping nutrients. You're activating neurons. You're activating all of these sensory parts of your brain. Look how lit up this brain is. That's a beautiful brain right there.
That's a singing brain.
That's a singing brain right there. So sing in the shower, things like that. Pick up a couple of pencils and drum on a book cover or something, you know. And exactly, there you go.
On beat, please.
But it doesn't, you know. It takes time to learn. That's another issue I had with people coming up. Is it's frustrating. Sometimes it can be frustrating trying to pick up an instrument and play when you're not good. And what I've found in my own experience, and I've played music my whole life. I played violin for 5 years. I played trumpet, baritone, euphonium. I play guitar a little bit. And what I've found is that the learning curve for a lot of these instruments is steep, but then it plateaus. So once you can get the basics of learning an instrument, once you get, you know, your basic pitch down if you're going to sing, or you learn a couple chords on the guitar, it can really open up a whole new world for you, and you're not just sitting there and going, what do I do? You have an intro to start, and then that can start leading to becoming, you know, more proficient and better, and then you're not going to be so frustrated because you're actually doing well. Some more concerns people have: I don't have enough time, like I said, just sing in the shower, whatever you can do. And you know, music is an important part of our lives. It affects us in ways, you know, that you would never know, but now you do know. I interviewed a former school board member, Jennifer Falero, is a friend of mine. She was on the school board for 8 years, and I kind of asked her about things like, I thought she could have some insight in how music programs in schools have affected things like test scores, and she said unequivocally that, you know, they saw higher test scores in schools that had proficient music programs, schools that had proficient arts programs. It's such a huge thing for kids to be able to get out of just your monotony of everyday learning and academics, to be able to utilize that creative side of the brain, and that's a huge thing. Like, playing music can help in so many ways, and like Miss Valero said, I mean, and that's another sad part, is it's one of the first things to get cut when the budget gets tight, you know. But it can really, we need to rethink that. We need to have we need to understand. That's why I'm coming to you here today. I want you guys to understand that music is important, and so to cherish it and don't cut it when the budget gets tight, things like that, because it can really help with learning. That's all I really have today. So, any questions?
Go, boy.
Yes.
Okay, so what if I never played an instrument before.
Okay.
All right, and what if I like really think low of instruments? What advice you could give me to make it work?
Okay, so you've never played an instrument before, and what advice could I give her to pick up an instrument? Well, I would say try different things. I've always said pick up instruments until you find one that you love, and if you can't find one, it's your voice. So if you can't find one, sing, you know, but try different instruments. Try different types of instruments, woodwinds, brass. I personally really like brass instruments, things like the trumpet, but stringed instruments like a guitar is an awesome instrument to play. A lot of people have guitars. I know it's frustrating because buying an instrument is expensive too. So I would say try different things until you can't. If you can't find anything, use your voice. Start singing, you know, or start drumming, start beatboxing or something. Did you have a question?
Forgot it.
You forgot your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir?
Are there certain types of music that help learning more than others?
Are there certain types of music that help learning more than others? That's a great question. A long time ago, classical music has been shown simply to listening. I'm talking about, if you're talking about playing music, any type of playing music is going to be huge for your brain. But if we're talking about just listening to music, there's a lot of research that has gone into, classical music, like Mozart. There's a big study out there called Mozart and the Mind. that was huge, and so classical music has been shown to actually be a big thing when listening to. So if you're studying, listen to classical music. That's all the time I have today. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day.
Good job, man.